The street vendor moratorium in San Diego is over. What that means and where you might see more vendors coming up.
More bike lanes coming to National City. We have reaction.
One of the South Bay's most popular resources for free food is running out of money. We're going to hear from the organization's founder.
And be glad you didn't leave your car here, where this massive rock slide rained down on a parking lot. CBS 8 News Live at 6 starts now.
Tonight, a moratorium that prohibited street vendors in some of San Diego's most popular spots during the summer has expired, but some vendors tell us it never stopped them from setting up shop in the first place. Good evening and thank you for joining us. I'm Carlo Cicchetto.
I'm Marcella Lee. The moratorium went into effect on Memorial Day weekend and stayed in place all summer through Labor Day weekend. Our Shannon Handy joins us live now from Balboa Park to explain how vendors were still able to work despite the temporary summer ban.
Yeah, Marcella and Carlo, this issue has created a lot of confusion. Balboa Park was one of those areas listed in that moratorium, as were parks along our coastline. Vendors and artists were prohibited from selling anything in those places, but they found a loophole which allowed them to do so anyway.
So these are all hand printed by me.
Chetwin Wooding is an artist who sells these one-of-a-kind screen-printed pieces inside Balboa Park. He's been doing it all summer long, even though a city moratorium prohibited vending both here as well as in Mission Bay and Shoreline Parks from Memorial Day through Labor Day.
I think there's a lot of confusion about what the rules are. I don't think the city or the park rangers even know what the rules really are. I think they're trying to work it out as well.
Wooding says he was never approached by park rangers, in part because he's a member of the Spanish Village art studio located inside Balboa Park. Other vendors there say they have been questioned, but like Wooding, they've still been able to set up shop. Have you noticed any new vendors out here today?
Today, no. It's been just the regulars, the people that have been here all summer. So nobody new, nothing seems out of the ordinary.
So how have they been able to operate? They tell us they found a loophole allowing it under the First Amendment. That part of the ordinance reads, the following persons, entities, or activities are exempt from the requirements of this division. Any vendor or individual engaged solely in artistic performances, free speech, political or petitioning activities, or engaged solely in vending of items constituting expressive activity protected by the First Amendment. In Ocean Beach, jewelry maker Brett Miller says it's kept him working all summer long. Moratorium or not, you're out here.
I'm going to make my living as an artist, regardless of how hard the city tries to make it for me.
Still, like others, he says there is a lot of confusion when it comes to rules versus their rights.
We're told conflicting information. We're told one thing by some people. We're told another thing by other people on a different day.
I reached out to the city for clarification, but haven't heard back. Here's what we do know. Vendors and artists need to have a permit and must follow certain restrictions, including the times they can set up. And I did just hear back from a city spokesperson. They said they are trying to get answers to my questions, including whether or not some of the wording in the ordinance itself will be changed to maybe not be so confusing for people. So as soon as we get an answer to that question and others, we will keep you posted. Marcel and Carlo.
Shannon, not only is this issue, this mandate confusing, the vendor part of it, it's been pretty contentious since the start and seems to still be.
Yeah, Carlo, this whole thing came about because business owners, particularly in the beach area, you know, down there at Mission Beach Boardwalk, they were upset because they say, hey, look, these vendors set up outside our storefront. We're paying all these taxes. We are paying all these other fees, and people are just setting up. They're taking our business, and they're not having to go through the same hoops that we are. So that's how this ordinance came about, to really set some rules in place. But the vendors are saying it's just adding to the confusion and it just doesn't seem streamlined. Park rangers don't know all the rules and vice versa. But either way, I know that business owners, a lot of them do not support these vendors at all.
We could all use some clarity here. Shannon Handy reporting from Balboa Park. Thanks, Shannon. Just a couple of hours ago, a woman who says she was kidnapped, raped, and ordered to dismember a body inside a Palm City home testified in court. She told prosecutors that 44-year-old Rafael Banda was her attacker. He was arrested in March after police found another woman dead inside the home. The woman in court today says she was in an abusive relationship with Banda and that he had beaten her before. Her testimony continues tomorrow. It's part of a conditional exam. That's where prosecutors hear from witnesses before heading to trial. A teenage girl caught on video attacking a North County Transit District bus driver has been arrested on an assault charge. Earlier today, NCTD released this surveillance video of the fight that happened just last week. We're told the driver stopped the bus because of what's being called a disturbance involving San Pasqual High School students on that bus. The video shows the driver arguing with the students, then being pushed by the students when he tried to hold them on the bus, even kicked by one of them, you'll see here, before they push their way out. And then this escalates, you see, once the girls got off the bus. 2 other teens involved are being charged with conspiracy and were released to their parents. The bus driver is not being charged.
If you're taking a flight on United Airlines tonight or picking up or dropping someone off who is, check ahead before you head to the airport. United says a system-wide technology issue forced them to ground all flights this morning for about an hour, and it's really had a ripple effect nationwide. Here at San Diego International Airport, we checked and we are still seeing delays for some United flights. So again, check your United Airlines app or go to the website. Tonight, City Council members in National City are considering a plan to add more bike lanes to the streets and roads there. CBS 8's Brian White is live at City Hall, where the council meeting is just getting underway right now. Brian?
Yes, the City Council is moments away from discussing their new bicycle plan update, which would add 4 miles of new bike lanes in addition to many more miles of other types of bikeways. Now, I've got my bicycle helmet here because I took to the roadways earlier to test out some of these bike lanes here in National City.
Oh, for me, it's like it's more for exercise, for the old, for senior people, that they can have to ride for a safe road for bikers. That's really good.
I ran into Bert Kiliego on 24th and Highland as he was out for a bike ride. He thinks adding more bike lanes is a good idea and makes getting around town easier and safer for cyclists like him.
Really good. If you can put around San Diego County with the bike lanes, that's fine. It's good.
The new bicycle master plan is looking to expand and improve National City's existing bikeway network by filling in gaps and making the area more bikeable altogether.
Basically, this whole commuting idea and everything tied together. And that's really nice and good, particularly if you're dealing like with an Otay Ranch, which is like, you know, a big sandbox that you just kind of get to play SimCity with. If you're talking about an older community like ours, that's a world of difference.
Ron Morrison is mayor of National City. He thinks some bike lanes are necessary, but he doesn't think the roadways here need to be saturated with too many of them.
The question is, how many of these do we really need, and do they need to be out on every street? No. Do we need a couple of north-south? Do we need a couple of east-west? Okay, let's do that.
National City already has more than 12 miles of Class 2 bike lanes. I hopped on my bicycle to test them out. I'm here on East 18th Street where they currently have bike lanes. Now, there's no protective barrier separating me from traffic, but it's still a whole lot safer than here on 24th Street, which has no bike lanes at all, something this new plan is trying to change. The solid lines on this map show existing bikeways. The dotted lines represent where city staff wants to add more.
We need to have some for those who want to use bikes and want to use it to get to certain areas. You want to make sure you got like a east-west to get over to Harbor Drive, and that takes you down to downtown, those type of things. But we don't need one on every arterial on every street. And that's what's going to have to be looked at tonight.
City staff will be presenting the bicycle master plan for discussion only. There's no vote tonight, but they may bring the item back to council in the near future for an actual vote.
Brian, how does the city plan to pay for these proposed bike lanes?
They say it would be a mix of regional, state, and federal funding. But one thing this bicycle master plan update does is it makes National City eligible for certain grant opportunities that could help to fund some of these bike lanes.
Balancing the need for those bike lanes, reducing greenhouse gas emissions, and also making sure that the people who are driving, the storefronts, are also getting their say. It's a balancing act, and we'll continue to follow the story. Thanks so much, Brian. The San Diego Workforce Partnership is announcing a new program that will help foster youth land their first job. It's called Career Pathways for Foster Youth, and it's intended to help both current and former foster youth between the ages of 16 and 24. The program will help them access jobs, paid internships, education, and training programs, which include programs like getting a commercial driver's license. It's made possible by a $5 million investment from San Diego County, as well as partnerships with multiple nonprofits. You can find more information on the new program on our website, cbs8.com.
We've received a huge response to our report last week on the release of 11 billion gallons of water from the Lake Hodges Dam over the past year.
CBS 8's David Gottfredson is working for you to find answers to viewer questions about the effects of lowering the water level at the reservoir.
When CBS 8 reported that the city of San Diego has released 11 billion gallons of water over the past year from Lake Hodges, the emails started coming in. Besides the water losses, the lake level is too low to operate the 40-megawatt hydroelectric facility, a viewer named Kurt emailed us. He's talking about the Lake Hodges pumped storage facilities, a $208 million hydroelectric plant that uses water from Lake Hodges to generate enough electricity to power 26,000 homes annually. Now it can't be used because the water level in the lake is too low. Another viewer, Andrew, emailed us to say he was frustrated that Lake Hodges was still closed to windsurfing, even though it's one of the best freshwater windsurfing locations in Southern California. They opened the lake only to kayak and shore fishermen. The reason given was the lake was polluted, Andrew wrote. The city's website says the state does not allow water contact activities due to water quality.
Windsurfing is very limited water contact. It's just incidental to a fall occasionally.
Windsurfer Kevin Kidd Tackaberry says Lake Hodges is not polluted, and he has the water test results to prove it. The former city employee says the city should post water advisory signs, not close the entire lake to windsurfing.
It really ought to be an advisory. That's all they're required to do with the bacterial levels that there are now.
The city of San Diego owns the Lake Hodges Dam, and the city is supposed to maintain it. But in 2019, state regulators ordered the water level lowered because the dam was unsafe. Now the city says it's making plans to finance, plan, and build a new dam. Now, the city estimates it's going to take 10 years to build a new dam here at Lake Hodges. So in order to comply with the state order to keep the water level low, every time we get a heavy rainstorm, they're going to have to release the water into the ocean. At Lake Hodges, David Gottfredson, CBS 8.
Thanks, David. A first of its kind interdisciplinary EPA Center will soon be opening up here in San Diego. SDSU President Adela De La Torre was joined by Representatives Juan Vargas and Scott Peters to announce the project today during a news conference in National City. The university was awarded $10 million in federal funding for the project back in April. The goal of the Center of Community Energy and Environmental Justice is to help underserved communities get federal grants for environment and clean energy projects.
For us, success really looks like communities that are able to get more resources from federal funds and the unprecedented federal funds that are available now for energy and environmental and climate justice. And so our goal is to really help connect them to those opportunities.
The new center will help other underserved communities in our state, as well as in Arizona, Nevada, Hawaii, and Pacific Island territories. It's set to open at SDSU's Mission Valley campus sometime in 2026.
Still ahead tonight, a charity organization in the South Bay is suspending its services to help people who are unhoused.
Plus, some good news when it comes to worries of a recession, why some financial experts say it's now less likely to happen.
We had cloud cover in the forecast today that kept our daytime highs below seasonal. That will take us all the way into the weekend. We are talking about a warm up this weekend and also some higher surf. We'll take a look at those details coming up.
And up next, where this massive rock slide came too close to some cars parked in a lot.